And we're live. All right. Hello, Internet. Good afternoon. My name is Miles Bassett with Wildman Web Solutions, and this is Ask Wildman, online resource made available to you by Wildman Web Solutions. We are a digital marketing agency based here in Lawrence, Kansas. We provide all sorts of digital and technology services, marketing services for small and medium businesses, businesses of all sizes, all shapes, all over the place. Um, and we are every week hopping on here, going live streaming on our Facebook page, LinkedIn, and YouTube channel to answer your questions. We get a lot of the same questions over and over and over from different clients and friends and business acquaintances asking about how to get online, how to get a website going, how to do some social media. Should I be advertising on LinkedIn? Should I be advertising on Facebook? All these questions, we want to get those out there, get as much information out there for you as possible. So again, we're hopping on here to answer your questions. If you have any questions, you have anything you want us to discuss, if you have some experience dealing with what we're talking about today, then please feel free to jump in the comments below. I will be watching those live. And if you have any questions or anything, I'll try to answer those as they come up. If you're catching this later, you're not watching us live, you can still be involved in the conversation. Just email us at askwildman@wildmanweb.com. I have that address scrolling below me in this crawler here. So just grab that, email us, and we'll use that question for next week, as we're doing this every week. Currently, we're at Thursdays at noon. Again, live streaming to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So pick your poison there. Okay, to go ahead and get started here, I'm going to bring in my partner, Mike. You ready there?
Always.
There we go. Hey, hello, Mike.
Good afternoon, Miles. How in the heck are you doing today?
We can say afternoon now. It's officially 5 after, 6 after. There we go.
I'm still drinking coffee, though, for some
Good
crazy
afternoon.
reason.
Afternoon coffee, that's a thing. Yeah, doing great. Happy to be here with you and answering the people's questions. So for us to go ahead and get going here, again, I am watching the comments. So if you have any questions or you want us to hit something in particular, please throw those questions in the comments below and we'll hit those as they come up. But Mike, we had an interesting conversation with a client earlier this week, I think, where some questions came up that we answer a lot, and we decided that we wanted to hit that this week on the live stream. I think everyone in the business world knows that social media is important in 2022 when it comes to running a business and having an online presence. They know they need to have some sort of social media account. They should probably be posting something. But of course, that gives us a lot of natural follow-up questions. What platform should I be on? What should I be posting? How do I post it? How frequently do I post these things? So I wanted to give the people a quick high-level overview of social media for small business and based on this conversation we had. So I'm going to kick it over to you. Maybe if you could give us a quick rundown of how that conversation went, how this question came up, and then how we answer those kinds of questions.
Sure. Yeah, it's a question that we get all the time. So I think we've probably discussed this on the show before, but it's always a good one to go circle back to, answer again. And because, things are always changing too. But the question is probably one that you ask yourself a lot if you manage a social media page for a small business. And that's, how much should I be posting? How often should I be posting? And how important is it that I am posting? And for the purposes of this conversation, we're going to keep it to organic posting, meaning posts that we don't have to pay for. These are not ads. These are posts that come directly from our page, whether that be a Facebook page, Instagram page, Twitter, LinkedIn, you name it, right? So very, very important question. And of course, it all really depends on your business and your buying funnel, your sales funnel, and also what are the other things that you're doing marketing wise. I'm afraid to admit it, but I'm old enough to remember when businesses first started using social media, and it seems like we've almost come 180 degrees since then. Where when Facebook kind of first came on the scene, it was a lot of people told me, "Well, I never have to advertise again. I never have to spend another dollar on advertising. All I have to do is post on my Facebook page and everyone's going to see it and I'm going to get free advertising and free publicity, and that's all I ever need to do, right? And of course, that was never the correct answer, but there was some truth to that, at least before, of course, in our news feeds early on in social media, where if we had 100 people following our page and we posted something, 99 people were going to see that post. And of course, we've come, like I said, 180 degrees from that almost on a lot of platforms today. Facebook, of course, being the most prominent one, where now if you're not, doing the things that you should be doing to get more reach and more engagement on your posts, you're probably going to be lucky if you have 100 people to follow your page to get 9 of them to see a post. It's really been throttled in terms of how many people and what is my reach when I post something on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. So it is a natural question. I think that there is some room, perhaps for some debate in certain businesses about how much you should be posting. But my answer back then and my answer now is you should be posting as much as you possibly can. And so we're going to unpack that a little bit. But if you think about it, it's still free. For most people to post. Now, some businesses do have a hard cost involved with paying somebody, whether that be an agency, whether that be somebody on staff, to post things. But that aside, right, if I'm not running an ad, it's free. And so that's my first, thing that I say back to somebody is, why wouldn't you use this? It's really going to cost you next to nothing to post all the time. Now, we don't want to spam people. We don't want to be annoying. And so the only reason why we wouldn't be posting absolutely as much as possible is because we don't have the content to post. We don't have the quality of valuable content that the audience is going to like, and it's going to get them to know, like, and trust us to post. So we don't post, that's really the only reason in my mind that you shouldn't be posting a lot. And we'll get into some specifics here, exactly how many posts we're talking about. But, to go back just to kind of one of the golden rules of marketing, it's much more important what you say to somebody than who you're saying it to or how many people are reading it or listening to it. And so always keep that in mind here and take this discussion about number of posts with that grain of salt, that it really depends on how much we're posting, or what we're posting in terms of how much we're posting. And we always say that value in terms of content is something that is informative, it's educational, or it's entertaining, or it can touch 2 or even all 3 of those things. But if we're putting out content that is informative, educational, or entertaining, generally speaking, people are not going to see that as spammy unless we're always asking somebody for a sale. That's the other big no. You don't want to just put out, hey, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, because people stop paying attention to that. Nobody likes to be sold to. People like to buy things. So we're going to give them valuable content, again, that gets them to know, like, and trust us, and keep that top of mind awareness. So when they are in the buying funnel, they think of us, right? It's pretty simple, and I'm going to get into some specific examples of what we're talking about here. But just know that the first thing you have to understand is, am I saying something that's worthwhile? And if not, then don't post it. Okay, but I'm going to throw some stats out here. The average Facebook page, business page, shares 1.55 posts a day. The average business page on Instagram posts 1.56 per post in their feed every day. So that surprises a lot of people, first of all, when I tell them that, because they say, man, I'm posting maybe 3 times a week. Well, generally speaking, you're probably way behind your competitors in your industry. Just giving those stats alone. I mean, a lot of industries are posting multiple times a day. Restaurants is a really big one. It's not uncommon for a restaurant to post 2 or 3 times a day. Why is that? So first of all, or second of all, after we understand what we're going to say to somebody, we have to understand why we're saying it to that audience. And that's going to depend on your buying funnel, your sales funnel, and the customer journey that people go through. So why do restaurants tend to post more? Well, because people make that decision every single day. What am I going to eat? A lot of people do it 3 times a day. Some people 4 or 5. God bless them. They just love to eat. I'm on occasion in one of those people. So if I'm doing that 3 or 4 times a day, I have the opportunity, if you're a restaurant, to decide, hey, I want to eat from this place that many times a day. It's a much shorter buying funnel than somebody who's selling life insurance or selling a car or selling a home, right? Those are things that we typically buy every 5, 7, maybe even 10 years on average, compared to the average, even now, as we're still, in the lingering recovery phase of the pandemic. Now, still 50% of Americans are going out to eat in a restaurant at least once a week. 50%, that's a lot, that are doing a buying decision every single week in your category. So that's the second thing that you have to understand is, what is my customer journey? How short of a buying funnel do I have? Because if it's a really short one, I need to be talking to those people a lot more to keep in that I call it the Rolodex in somebody's mind. With your significant other or your friends, probably on multiple times a week, if not on a nightly basis, you play the game of, what do you want to eat tonight? What do you want to have for dinner tonight, right? I'm sure that comes up in your house often, Miles. And people immediately go to that, even subconsciously, they immediately go to a Rolodex in their mind. And most people have about 5 or 6 restaurants, or maybe they'll have a category of a restaurant like Mexican or Italian or something like that. So if I'm a restaurant owner, I need to make sure that I'm in that Rolodex of those 5 or 6 places that they're going to rattle off when somebody asks them that question. That is classic top of mind awareness. And the only way we can do that is through frequency within an audience, right? People forget things. Sleep is the great eraser. So we have to keep putting our messages and our branding in front of people to remind them, hey, we exist. We can serve you dinner. And so that's going to be much more important, like I said, for somebody that has a short buying funnel than somebody that has a really, really long buying funnel. Now, you may say, well, I hear car commercials all the time. Okay, that's true. And so the third thing is that we have to consider here is, what is our price tag? What is our lifetime value of a customer? What is our cost of acquisition? And the reason that car dealers, spend a lot of money on advertising, and they're all over the radio and they're all over television, even though they have a long buying funnel, is because they have a very high ticket price or cost per item, and they have a very high lifetime value. And they can get a great return on their advertising with that cost of acquisition. So those are some of the things that you need to keep in mind. But for most businesses out there, you want to be posting at least several times a week, if not once a day, as long as you're not always asking somebody for a sale, or you're not always just spamming people with just crap. You never want to post just for the sake of posting. Hey, I need to make my post count today. You always want to have a strategy. I thought this was interesting, Miles. The Instagram chief, Adam Mosseri, said last year that he suggested that posting 2 feeds per post per week, 2 stories per day, is ideal for building a following on the app. So this adds another little wrinkle, 2 little wrinkles to the discussion, because part of why we're posting is to talk to the people who already follow us, right? Those people have opted in. Hey, I want to hear messages from Wildman Web Solutions. Well, we'd be pretty dumb not to send them messages if they're opting in to get messages from us, right? The other thing that we're doing when we're posting is we're trying to get new people to follow us. So there's a little bit of a different ripple there in the strategies, but he's specifically talking about how to grow your page or your following on Instagram, and he recommends 2 post feeds per week and 2 stories per day. So that also brings in into the discussion, where should I be posting, right? Because on on several platforms now, we have multiple options. We have newsfeed, we have stories, and we have reels. And with our clients, we do a healthy mix and balance of both, or all of them. because you don't just want to be doing one or the other. You don't want to just be posting your news feed. You don't just want to be posting stories. We can get into some more strategy about what kind of a post goes in the news feed and what kind of a post goes into a story or a reel. If people want that, just drop your question down below. But generally speaking, things like stories and things like reels, we're doing to get people to reach out and know about us, creating awareness and getting them to follow our page. When we're doing feed posts, generally speaking, we're trying to get people who already follow us to engage with us and just move them down the buying funnel. I want to hit some interesting stats, though, since we're talking about restaurants as well here, Miles. And then if you have anything to add or you want to stop me and ask a question after I get these stats out there, please do. But again, if maybe you're not a restaurant, but if you have a short buying funnel and a lot of competition, these stats are probably going to be pretty similar to your category as well. Nearly 3 in 4 customers, 72%, have used Facebook to make a restaurant or retail decisions based on comments and images that other people have shared. So that's the other really big thing about social media, is that it's not straight top down, right? It's not like running a television ad or a radio ad where it's just us talking directly to the end user. It's social. Other people are going to comment. Other people are going to engage on it. Other people are going to share it or not. And that creates a level of validity with the end user. If they see other people commenting on it when you post your dinner special that night, hey, we had that last time, it was amazing. That is so much more powerful than me as the restaurant owner saying, come in tonight, this dish is amazing, right? And so that's something that we don't get in traditional means of advertising. That's super important. Twitter users have the highest engagement with restaurant compared to all other industries. 42% of U.S. diners said they have interacted with restaurants on at least one social media platform. And of that group, 66% said they are more likely to visit or order food from that restaurant after interacting with them on social media. So again, it's really important that you engage with your audience. If people leave you a comment, for example, on a post, it's really important that you comment back and that you engage with them, even if it's not the most positive thing. And I know Miles can get into how to handle negative reviews and things like that, which also comes up in this discussion quite a bit. Nearly half of diners have said they've tried a restaurant for the first time because of a social media post. That's an amazing stat to me, because one of the hardest things is to get somebody to try a restaurant for the first time. Generally speaking, after somebody comes in and spends 3 or 4 meals in a restaurant, they're going to be in that Rolodex, and they're going to come back and they're going to be a loyal customer. It's getting them to that 3rd or 4th that is really the hard part. And of course, the hardest one is getting them in there the first time. Clients spend, the amount of money that people spent in the restaurants increased by 40% or more for restaurant brands who engage with their followers on social media. So again, it's not just enough just to be posting regularly. You need to be engaging with these people as well. And then 71% of restaurant customers said they're more likely to recommend a restaurant that responds quickly to them on social media. So again, don't think about it just as this top-down platform. Really think about it as a way that I'm having open communication, open dialogue, open engagement with people that are interested in my business. And it's not just restaurants. That goes for pretty much any business out there. So Miles, I'm going to stop right there. See if you have anything that you want to clarify or ask or add to what I've been saying here.
Absolutely. So a ton of really great information there regarding social media. I just want to summarize real quick, because there's kind of a lot hit there. So the first point there is you're probably not posting enough. Looking at the averages there, again, 1.5 times per day is kind of the average. That does vary industry by industry. I know when we're initially looking at a business, a client that's approached us or something, we will look at their social accounts and then compare those to other social accounts within their industry. So take everything that we're looking at or that we're talking about here with a little bit of a grain of salt, and make sure that you are looking at your industry specifically. Go look at your competitors. Go look at, if you're a small business, go find one of the bigger businesses within your area or the ones that you're wanting to emulate. and see what they're doing. There's no harm in checking out the competition in that way. But chances are you're not posting enough. Most of the people that we talk to, especially in the small business world, like you said, they say maybe we're posting a couple of times a week. A lot of them, honestly, are a lot less than that. So chances are you need to up, or at least our recommendation would be to up your frequency of posting. With that being said, there's a major caveat on there of don't just post to post. That is not helpful to anyone. No one wants to see that. So make sure that you're putting something out that is meaningful. It's valuable in some way. You said informative, educational, or entertaining is our definition of providing value in some way. And you kind of glossed over this, but I think this is important there. We are providing value. It's not just a sales-based post. You mentioned that in there, but I really want to drive that home of don't just go out there and post 1.5 times a day asking people to buy your stuff. That's not meaningful. No one wants to see that all day, every day. So put out something that is actually meaningful in some way. It's valuable, it's entertaining, it's informative, it's educational. And then every once in a while, throw in hey, we've got this sale, or here's our special tonight, or I don't know, happy hour this time. We're talking restaurants a lot today, but a lot of this applies to any industry out there. I think almost every industry could benefit from having some sort of strong social presence, and this is how you go about doing it. So post more frequently. When you do post, make sure that it's valuable, and don't just post for posting's sake. Make sure that you are remembering that this is social media. This is not top-down engagement. So we are looking to engage our followers in one way or another. Maybe we're looking to get in front of new people. Maybe we're looking to get some more information in front of existing followers, but overall we are looking to be social with them. So asking them questions, encouraging them to like, share, comment, something that they can actually engage with. One thing I've seen a couple of our clients doing recently, they've been doing a great job of, is a whole series of posts that is like meet the staff. And they're going through their team and like taking a picture of that person, posting them up there, doing a quick bio, and here's what they do here, and here's their favorite kind of ice cream and whatever, just kind of a little fun blip about a person. That person then goes and shares it on their account and gets that brand in front of their entire network of people. And that's something that's highly personable, it's very social, and something easy for people to engage with. It really has little or nothing to do with your brand, but allows you to get that brand in front of new people. So little things like that you can do to get a little bit more engagement or be a little bit more social. Think outside the box and don't just be going sale, 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 sale. And then I did want to throw in one tip that you've actually mentioned before. I think it's a really great actionable tip that people can take here, because I know a lot of people's reactions when we say this of, hey, you need to be posting once or maybe more than once a day. They're like, great, how do I come up with something meaningful to say more than once a day here? What kind of content am I putting out there if I'm not just talking about sales? If you do find that you are in that position, you're not really sure what to say, you don't want to be spammy or salesy, you want to put out something valuable, document. So that's just document your day as a business owner, no matter what it is that you're doing. If you're making pizzas or you're building cabinets or whatever you're doing, document your day. Pull out your phone, take pictures, take video, just narrate whatever it is that you're doing. It doesn't have to be Hollywood quality production or anything. This can be fairly rough and organic, and post that out there. That can be very interesting to people. It can be very valuable, especially people within your space or who are actually already interested in your business, your industry. Just showing them what it is that you're doing all day, every day, and why it is that you are a master at your craft. So that's a great tip for someone who's trying to come up with some valuable information, some sort of post to put out there. They don't know how to write good sales copy or like create all these different creative post ideas. Just document whatever it is that you're doing and start putting that out there. That can be a really solid foundation of an organic social media play.
100%. And, there's a reason that reality television is so popular. I mean, people do like watching that. And you brought up a good point there, Miles, about a lot of people know what we're saying, but then when it comes and they go, okay, I'm going to post more, and they start posting maybe a little bit more for a while, and then they hit that wall, whether it be self-inflicted, doubt that, hey, I'm not good enough, people aren't liking my stuff, so they get doubt, and they stop, or they just don't know what to post. And you're right, documenting is something that anybody can do. And the other thing is, we talk about all the time, give away your secret sauce. Tell people what it is that you would do for them, or show people what it is that you would do for them, because everybody can do that. If I'm a plumber, for example, maybe I can't come up with some great copy points and some fancy video, and I'm not going to do cool TikTok dances or something like that to get somebody's attention, but I can give homeowners tips, right? I can show people how to fix a sink. I can show people what to do with their faucets to keep them from leaking, right? Like, that's why you just lean back into what you know and share that knowledge. And that's some of the best content out there. And literally anybody can do that. So that's a great place for somebody just to jump off and say, okay, I'm going to start posting more. I can't hire a marketing team. I'm not creative. I'm not a writer. I'm not a videographer. I can't do this. Yes, you can. Lean back on your strengths of what value you can provide to the end user in terms of your expertise, and just post that.
Yeah, and I'll give two more, I think, just actionable tips out here, let you close this out, and then we'll move on here, as we've got a lot of other things to talk about, a lot of other things to do today. If you have any questions, or you want us to talk about anything else specific, again, please throw your comments in below. I am watching that here, and we'll try to reply to those later, or email us, askwildman@wildmanweb.com. Another great tip for the person who's sitting there thinking, I know I need to post more, but I don't really know what to do. It's not my favorite thing. I'm not a social media person. How do I get that frequency out there effectively when I'm starting to hit that wall that Mike was just talking about? And it's a really common concern that people have. And so there are tools out there to help you do that. You're not alone. So find a tool that helps you. One thing that helps a lot of people is using a social media scheduler. So where you'll actually schedule out posts for the future. It'll set everything up. It'll automate it. It'll post it for you at the specified date and time. So, if this isn't your thing, you're not going to do it every day. Maybe you just set aside a chunk, then a Friday afternoon where you're just going to do social media. You're going to create a bunch of posts and schedule out the whole next week of posts. Maybe you do that over the weekend because you're working during the week. You don't have time to allocate to this, but you just sit down, you make yourself do it for a couple of hours, and you schedule out the next week or two of stuff in there. And that can really help to fill out a social media calendar, is just scheduling out in advance, especially for those of us who maybe don't come to this supernaturally or have a hard time producing that content on a regular basis. So use a scheduler out there. A lot of those schedulers will come with other tools to help you to curate additional content, find cool things, have some visual templates or pictures or something. We have a tool like that here at Wildman Web Solutions, which of course I'm a little biased, but it's a great tool. There are other options out there on the market, so find one that fits you and makes the most sense for you. Tools and software like that can really help people who are just getting started, or maybe just find themselves struggling with this over and over. And then to reiterate what I said before, you're not alone. Reach out to someone here. If this is something that you really struggle with and you're not able to capitalize on this, reach out to your local professional, find someone within your organization that's really good at this and maybe tap them in order to take point on it. Find a local agency or an expert like us to talk to. They can at least point you in the right direction, if not help you out more directly. But you don't have to feel like you're alone here. There's tons of great tools, resources, and experts out there for you to lean on and hopefully improve your social media game. Mike, any final tips, tools, tricks, whatever to leave the people with this
Yeah,
week?
I'll just add one thing on to what you were talking about in terms of a scheduler. Even if you don't get a piece of software and actually put the posts together and schedule them out, anybody, even if just you have a spreadsheet, can and should be making a content calendar, whether that's on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, where you sit down and you strategize, keyword, use a strategy here of what we're going to say, because again, that's the most important thing. Not only will you have better posts if you start doing that, but you'll actually stick to that content calendar and you will create more posts and end up posting more. And that's something that we do for all of our clients, but anybody can do it on their own. And then you at least have a plan of attack going into your social media.
Yeah, I feel like we come back to that. We circle back to that particular tip, no matter what we're talking about, from website design to social media to SEO. Is just take a moment, step back, make a plan, and no matter what you're doing, make sure that you're doing so within the context of a broader strategy. You're not just grabbing the shiniest, newest thing that you found and jumping on that today, because that's not gonna, you're not gonna get the best bang for your buck out of that. But you can really, really find a lot of great success on all of these things, from your website to your social media to your advertising, if you're doing something within a broader strategy. You're making that plan, you're sticking to it. That's what we do here at Wildman Web, and that's what we recommend you do in your business. So with that, we're going to sign off here. If you have any questions, you want us to talk about something in particular next week, DM us here on social, wherever you happen to be watching us, add a comment here, or email us, askwildman@wildmanweb.com. Lots of great free resources and information at our website, wildmanweb.com. With that, we'll sign off here. Mike, thank you very much. We'll see him next week. And we will be back here next week. Again, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Follow us at Wildman Web on all socials. We'll be live streaming again. So make sure to send us your questions, and we'll use that next week. And we'll see you then. Thanks.